about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity.
Elect Cynthia Lummus joins us now. Good morning to you, Senator-elect.
Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. What a resume you have. You served in the State House or Senate for 14 years. You were State Treasurer for 8 years. 8 years in the U.S. House, and congratulations, you were the first female senator in the state of Wyoming. I'm sure that feels great. What do you plan on doing? What are your top priorities?
Well, it's such an honor to serve Wyoming in the U.S. Senate. I plan to work on several issues, including matters to try to reduce our debt and our deficit. I also plan to explain to my colleagues about Bitcoin. I know there isn't much known about Bitcoin, especially in the Congress. So I want to make sure everybody understands that this is a great store of value. It's something that Americans can use to diversify their assets and to make sure that they have assets that don't have inflation built into them, just the way the U.S. dollar does.
Good evening, Bitcoiners from around the world. It is just gone 6 p.m. here, London time, on Thursday, the 19th of November, 2020. As always, strong Bitcoin hand. That is the name of the game. Build your strong Bitcoin hand so that you can deal with the volatility that is Bitcoin. Quick shout out, Michael Webber's in the chat. Great to have you with us, Michael. My lovely daughter, Buffy W. We've got Pastor Phil Volman with us. Wilco Delamar, great to have you with us. Rocky Palumbo. Who else? Paul Rouleau. I've seen Paul in the house. Who else have we got? John Stramitas, I believe. It's all flashing up. I want to give everyone Proud Zionist Jew. Bitcoin Meister, a.k.a. Adam Meister, is in the house. Buffy W, Rocky Palumbo. If I haven't given you a shout out and you want to shout out, do type in UK Bitcoin Master and I will happily give you a shout out live on the show. If you're new to the channel, you should be reading the disclaimer down there. Zaza, welcome. Great to have you with us. don't take anything I say as financial advice. You must get in the rabbit hole and do your own research. Don't take anything I say as financial advice, for goodness sake. Jean from Holland, welcome. Great to have you in the house. I know, Phil, you've thanked Paul Rollo personally for your recent donation, but on behalf of everyone, Paul, thank you. Really appreciated from myself, from Phil, and from some of the team that support Phil's worthy cause. Great donation. Thanks, Paul. You're an absolute star. If I can quickly, check out my websites, UK Bitcoin Master, where you will find all the videos I've done to date. BitcoinInterviews.com is where I've done, I house all the interviews that I've done with some of the greatest thought leaders in the Bitcoin space today. And I want to get more on the show. I've got a tiny little show, but I'm trying to reach out and reach the Michael Saylors of the world, the Preston Pyshes of the world, the Andy Edstroms of the world, etc. But of course, it's a tough ask, but I'm going to keep trying. So let me get that out of the way and just pop up the TippinMe address. I don't have enough subs for Super Chat, even though that's not relevant, but people have asked how they can leave a tip. If you've got a Lightning wallet, there you go. You can send me a few Satoshis at UK Bitcoin Master on TippinMe. My lovely wife Elaine has just joined us. Welcome, Elaine. Gary O'Connell is in the house. Great to have you with us, Gary, as well. So, without further ado, let's have a quick look, shall we, over at what's going on with the price of Bitcoin. Now, funny enough, a few minutes ago, it had just dipped under the 18K. It is now, again, $9 over the 18,000. Now, here's the thing. Who would have thought 3 or 4 months ago we would be looking at an $18,000 Bitcoin? All those naysayers out there that said that it won't recover. You know, who was freaking out on March the 12th when it plummeted, you know, with everything that's going on, all the craziness going on in the world. Matthew Underhill, welcome to the channel. Great to have you with us. This will become apparent later. People, stick around to the very end of the show, because I'm going to make you an offer from Matthew Underhill to get a completely free Bitcoin book, but that's only relevant for the next handful of hours. Matthew, put something in the chat if I've got this wrong. I think that Black Friday deal ends 8 a.m. tomorrow London time. Is that midnight or 23:59 Eastern, Western US time today? If you can pop that in, Matthew, so I don't give misinformation. But yeah, you know, I've read several Bitcoin books, and it's always good to read other books, and it's always good to be able to give someone a book that's not heard of Bitcoin or really tentative or nervous, and to be able to give them a book, you know, maybe even as a Christmas present, where they can read and understand a little bit in basic terms about money and how Bitcoin evolved, etc., then stick around to the very, very end and I'll tell you how you can get your hands on that book. So there we are. We're flirting on that 18K mark. As always, don't look at short-term, day-to-day, hourly charts, people. Zoom out and look what's going over, you know, the macro side of things. And this chart really shows it from, you know, even September when we were down around the 10K mark. We're almost doubled that, you know, October, 2 and a bit months on. So absolutely crazy how this thing can go. Definitely looking like what happened in 2017 as well. So really, really, really exciting times ahead, I feel. And if you happen to have snuck in the house, Preston Pysh, it is great to have you with us. And I would love to interview you, just putting that out there, because sometimes these people that I tweet at, they do sort of sneak in and see what it's all about, evaluate us, for want of a better word. But there you go, just putting it out there. So let's get over to my other desktop, and let's see what's going on in the news. Now, the reason I mentioned Preston Pysh is because my first article is an article from Cointelegraph that featured Preston talking about how this insanity that we're enjoying right now, he predicted 3 months ago. Now, interestingly enough, he tweeted back at me earlier saying that he actually predicted this would happen in Q1, I believe he said. Forgive me, it might be Q3, but I'm sure it's Q1 of this year, of 2020, that all this insanity was going to happen. Now, why am I saying that? Because, you know, we see a lot of articles like this, don't we, from all these online publications. Hang on, Matthew. Correct there, Brian. Offer ends 8 a.m. London time, 20th of November, midnight 19th of November PST. So stick around, people. If you're in the US, you've only got a handful of hours to get your hands on this, and I'll tell you how you can do that at the end of the show. So do stick around, because I think it also makes a great Christmas gift. Bram VDB, welcome to the show. Great to have you with us. Pound the like button. So Preston, I really love listening to this guy. You know, if you listen to his podcast, and it's just gone out of my head, and I had it on there earlier, I can't think what it's called. If anybody knows what Preston's podcast is, please put it in the chat now so I can mention it. Awesome. But also I've watched him with Brady from Swan several times, and he's not full of hype. He gives the reasons behind what's going on, behind anything he's saying. So he's not a crazy predictor coming out with weird and wacky stuff. But what he actually said, if I can, wrong screen, scroll down. Preston Pysh, there we go. 2020 gains could be insane. Hold on, I've got something in the way, I can't read it. You should be making a new time high by Christmas 2020. That means we've got 80 to 90% upside from here, which is insane, right? Because there's not that many more months between now and Christmas, Pysh said during an episode of the company's Swan Signal podcast. So to think that that much of a jump could occur between now and then is going to be dramatic narrative that I think very few are ready for. And this is what I've been saying on the show. How long now? He added that gold would fail to match anything like Bitcoin's growth, something that has since come true as the precious metal flagged following the United States presidential elections. So what am I going on about on this channel? That is, don't cry over spilt milk, as we say here in the UK, i.e. don't cry when it's too late and that parabolic uptrend has taken place, and then you live with regret because you wish you'd have got yourself more Bitcoin. I've lived through watching that go up to nearly 20k, crash back down to 3, sit in a bear market going nowhere for nearly 3 years with everyone wanting to dump on you. You're an idiot being involved in Bitcoin. And now that is what I refer to as enjoying the fruits of our labor. Now, it's not labor, it's just learning, as Bitcoin Meister taught me, to have a strong hand and understand that this is cyclical. There is a 4-year cycle that you've got to learn about, and during that cycle you get the highs and the lows, you get the peaks and the troughs, etc, etc. And when you watch Preston Pysh, as I have, for me personally, Preston, forgive me, mate, I'm not that way inclined, but you do something for me. You talk a whole bunch of sense. It makes a whole load of sense. And people, if you haven't already, go and subscribe to Preston's podcast. If any of you've put it in the chat, please put in UK Bitcoin Master first, otherwise I won't see it. And obviously pick up this article when I finish the show and read to see what Preston is talking about. Matthew, I've already done that one. We study billionaires. No, it's not that one. Matthew, I'm a bit confused. What do you mean by that? No, it's the Investors Podcast, I believe it's called. The Investors Podcast, yeah. So what else have we got going on? Bitcoin's price heads for an all-time high, as if we don't know that. Why am I showing these articles then? Because we don't know who's new, who's catching this channel for the first time. Yorkie Bitcoiner, welcome. Great to have you with us. We don't know who's catching this channel for the very first time Okay, so what I try to do on the channel is to help people build their strong hand like I built my strong hand. If you think your hand's strong now and you can deal with a correction of $1,000 downwards in a heartbeat like we've recently seen, is your strong hand strong enough to see a 10,000 drop in a heartbeat or a 30,000 drop in a heartbeat? So you need to check your emotions on that one. And if you're not there, you need to find a way to get to that place, because those types of drops are definitely coming in the not too distant future. So did I highlight any text on this one? Yeah, I did. Excuse me. Bitcoin, this is a couple of days old. Remember, I only do my show Monday and a Thursday. Bitcoin just went through 17k and is now within striking distance of his all-time high around 20k. Like all success, Bitcoin's rise has many fathers. There is trouble. COVID, Hong Kong, change of government in the US, Chinese tech oligarchs under fire at home, the anti-group IPO debacle. There is a wildly held belief that an inflationary comeuppance set off by all the COVID bailouts is on its way. And I believe that. Preston Pysh talks on his podcast that this has accelerated Bitcoin's growth into the stratosphere, for want of a better word. So, as I've always said, not giving, and that's from Forbes, that's respectable, not giving any financial advice, but just urging you all from how I feel here, get into the Bitcoin overlay now and start stacking those Satoshis, because the good times are a-coming, people. I can feel it. It gets better. I said on my last show, we're going to start to see billionaires drifting in steadily at first. Then everyone's going to FOMO in. They won't want to be left out. Then it will be institutions, nation states, etc. And there'll just be a mad rush. And what did I say? Now we've got this Mexican billionaire has just invested 10% of his liquid portfolio into Bitcoin. So what I said on the last few shows, this is happening. Did I not say that? And you're going to see something, I believe, most weeks now of what I refer to as big hitters starting to move into the space. John from Malibu, welcome to the show. You may have put a message in before, John, but I haven't seen it. I've just seen it flash up there on my screen. So again, they're all starting to drift in. You've got this young lady, never heard of her. I've never seen Game of Thrones, but she's one of the stars apparently in Game of Thrones, Maisie Williams. She asked on Twitter, should she get into Bitcoin? And the poll, I think, came out against her. I think it's about 50-odd% saying no, don't, and 40-odd% saying, yeah, you should. So again, that 50-odd%, who are they that are advising her about, not getting into Bitcoin? And that's the sad part about tweeting something like that out. You're actually not going to get the right advice, I feel, and it's very hard to know how to get the right advice. And when I joined, I hate that. When I first bought my first Bitcoin in mid-2017, I just got on YouTube and started searching, and I thought I had to trade. I thought that I had to trade. I thought I had to learn charts, technical analysis, Fibonacci, and I didn't understand any of it. And 3.5 years later, I still understand none of it. So I followed people like Chris Dunn, who was a Wall Street trader and who's been in trading 15 odd years trying to learn how to trade. Then I stumbled by accident across BTC Sessions, BTC Benny, and Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister. And I liked Bitcoin Meister's style, pulled no punches, got on and told it how it was and how it is. And I followed Adam for 3.5 years. What you've got to do now, today, we've got so many fantastic people that can help you build your strong hand. Michael Saylor, follow him on Twitter. His tweets are cracking. In fact, I'm really sad to be boring, but in my tweets later, I've got another one from Michael Saylor because they're just so profound and so worth sharing, if that makes sense. So, people like Michael Saylor, you've now got Raoul Pal is in the space. You've got Simon Dixon. Forgive me, you've got my show. I happen to believe I had some value to the space, if no more than a bit of inspiration. Welcome, Dan. Great to have you with us, Dan Newman. So Bitcoin Meister, proud Zionist Jew on his backup channel, etc. So many people you can follow now to get the right sound advice that I believe if you open your mind and you do your research, you'll find and migrate to the correct people if you are right for being a Bitcoin hodler of last resort. That's where it's at, I believe. Long time preference, zooming out, not looking to invest today and make millions tomorrow, looking at 4, 8, 10, 15, 20-year time horizons if you're younger than I am. That really is the name of the game for a strong hand Bitcoiner. If you're someone that wants to come into Bitcoin, time the market, buy low, and next week make a killing and get out, you're going to get wrecked. Bitcoin isn't for you, in my opinion. So I feel sorry for Maisie Williams because, maybe she'll do her own research and draw her own conclusions. But if she gets into Bitcoin or she doesn't based on that poll, then she's not going to get into Bitcoin, is she? Which is really a bit sad, in my opinion. Bitcoin enters the stratosphere as massive OTC deals spark institutional demand. This is what I've been saying. It starts off with retail, you and I. Then the institutions start looking at it, or the big businessmen like Michael Saylor, Raoul Pal, the hedge fund manager, etc. Then the institutions will start looking. And what this article is saying is really interesting. It is now being driven by institutions and not retail. Bitcoin achieved its highest price since January 18 across major exchanges, seeing a massive rally as over-the-counter deals grew. This trend shows that institutions and high net worth individuals are actively accumulating Bitcoin. Look at that chart. So try and, if you like, open your mind to this and imagine that in 2017 it was regular dudes like us, but then in 2020 it's more big business, hedge fund managers, institutions, and these people don't muck around. And I think I got something that talks about that in a second, I think. Hold on. Yeah, multi-billion dollar. Actually, can I just go back? Hold on a second. Was there some more there? Did I find some more text? No, it wasn't that one. So what is this last one? Perhaps it's here. And then we've got another fund, a multi-billion dollar fund, Skybridge Capital, might soon be buying Bitcoin. And it says Skybridge Capital, an alternative assets investment fund run by former Goldman Sachs banker and previous White House official Anthony Scaramucci, just revealed its intention to invest in Bitcoin. People, you've got to get this before it's too late. There are more and more of these. There were none of them when I got in 3.5 years ago. All they wanted to do, Jamie Dimon, was say it's a fraud. Warren Buffett, rat poison squared. They say your banks will never custody this. Now all banks across the US can custody it. Please try and get this. Where's your vision? This thing is coming and it's racing towards us, even though we can't physically see it. What is Rocky saying? We need to consider 5 years ago, Maisie Williams' tweet question would have been 90 no and 10 yes. So her tweet is great news. No, I get it, Rocky. Absolutely it is. It is a shame that if she looks at that and then decides against it is what I'm saying. But no, you're right. 5 years ago, it would have probably been 95-5. So, opinion is shifting. the awareness out there in the world is shifting, and that's what makes this whole thing just so blooming exciting. I must have missed it on one of the previous tabs, but basically that one of the tabs was saying big hitters are not messing around. They're not playing around at this. They will come in with their millions and their billions. And what you want to do is you want to be in the game before that thing starts to happen, because then you're going to, your compounding of your Bitcoin is going to be that much greater the more you've got when it starts to jump up. And in fact, it's already starting to climb, isn't it? When in September we were around the 10K mark, and now we're close to the 20K mark. So it's already starting. But as Preston Pysh said on the first tab, we ain't seen nothing yet. There is a 80 to 90% upside still to come, which is mind-blowing. And if it doesn't get you off this show and get to bed and your head spinning with the possibilities to change your family's finances and legacy for generations to come, then perhaps Bitcoin isn't for you, if that makes sense. It's not for everyone. We know that. When the multi-millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires come into Bitcoin, 90% of the world will still be thinking it's something to do with drugs and something illegal. It's just the way it is. But the people with their minds open, the people that jump in now, are the people that will make the fortunes. No financial advice there. That is just my honest opinion. I want to have a quick minute out and give a shout out to Dan at Justlearnbitcoincom. He's got a great website over there. If you're new into Bitcoin and you want to gain resources, they help you over there with wallet setup, backup, storage solutions, end of life planning, which is a really big deal as well. You can have a vanity address if you want one. There might be a way to get a coin that you sent to the wrong chain back with the right help. So well worth checking out. I mean, they've also clearly got some great merch over there. I love the, I don't know if you can see that, the Bitcoin bracelet that Dan from Mexico, the CEO, sent me so that I could talk about it on the show. Of course, they've got all the merchandise over there you could want, you know, to market yourself and get people to ask, what is Bitcoin? So do check out Justlearnbitcoin.com, whatever you do. There's also links there where you could head over to this next initiative. And I want to give a shout out to Phil Volman, who's in the chat. We refer to Phil lovingly as Pastor Phil. That is because he was a pastor of the church for 16 years. But Phil was building his Bitcoin, 14.2 Bitcoin, doing a firmware update on his Trezor, and it was all stolen. And if you click the family story there, that'll tell you all about the man, his family, his values, and the good that he's done in the world. So do read that. And finally, Phil has very kindly given us the transaction ID of the hack that stole all of his Bitcoin. You can see it there. If you zoom in, you might not be able to see it, but I put a red box around it. You know, one day he had 14.2 BTC. The next day it was zeroed when he was simply doing a firmware update on his Trezor and he missed something in his URL bar. So it is well worth going back to the homepage there, scrolling down and just watching these two videos, because Rocky and I interview Phil and Phil explains how well versed he is in Bitcoin, the amount of years he's been in Bitcoin, the amount of people that he's brought into Bitcoin. You know, he's well versed on the Trezor, and yet he missed something so tiny and lost all of his Bitcoin. Don't let Phil's experience happen to you because you think it ain't gonna happen to you. Get onto Phil's site, watch those videos, learn what Phil did, and then don't make that mistake yourself. And then on any of those pages, you can click a link that will take you to this Tallycoin donation site that Rocky kindly put up for Phil. And we're always plugging Phil's cause to help him get one, some, or all of his Bitcoin back. Now, on this page, you can see you can donate 50 cents. I mean, please, you know, 50 cents if all you can donate, please. Phil would be forever grateful. But if you can donate a bit more, please do. And I want to point out that recently we've had some corkers in. We've got 1 million Satoshis there. We've got 598,000 Satoshis from Paul Roulal, who's in the chat. And Paul, again, thank you. I know how much that means to Phil. Then we got another donation of 600,000 Satoshis. So all of a sudden, there's some great donations coming in, which the English language, it warms the cockles of my heart. That is a British saying. If you don't know what it is, it just makes you feel good here. And that is my mission, to not let go until I've helped Phil get a chunk of his Bitcoin back. And if I have my way, people like Michael Saylor, Preston Pysh and the like will hear it about the cause, and maybe they'll donate a few Bitcoin because they've got thousands. Who knows? Okay, thanks for bearing with me, people. Let's get back to the show. Let's have a look at some of the great tweets. Don't forget to stick around for that book offer. We'll come on to that. So sorry to be a bore, but I love Michael Saylor's tweets. Taval, welcome. Barefoot Barry, welcome to the show. If I've missed your name and you want to shout out, type UK Bitcoin Master. Gladly give you a shout out. So Michael Saylor said 2 days ago, Bitcoin isn't a train leaving the station. I think I might have said that on my show, the train's leaving the station, but he said it isn't. It's an arc to avoid drowning in the currency flood. Yeah. Missing the train means an opportunity lost. Missing the arc means you're going to drown, if you can understand the analogy. And I really believe that Bitcoin is the arc. I'm not religious. I am a Christian, but I'm not religious. I don't read the Bible and I don't go to church. So don't take it that way. Sorry, Phil. You know, I believe that if I go through my life doing good, giving out and not doing any harm, then if you don't open those pearly gates to me, then there's something wrong. That's how I live my life. But the point is, the analogy is, you know, get on the arc, get into Bitcoin, you know, because maybe the dollar will be kicked down the road in our lifetimes, but maybe it won't. And the arc is your savior. It really is. Taval, yeah, I am on Instagram, actually. I don't use it much over there, but I am on Instagram, Facebook at UK Bitcoin Master, Yorkie Bitcoiner. We're going to need a bigger arc. There was a film once, I think, Elaine, you'll know this. I think we're going to need a bigger boat. And I can't think what that film was. Somebody, if you can remember what, I think we're going to need a bigger boat. What film that's from, put it in the comments. That would be absolutely great. Oh, and by the way, you people that are in the comments, you people that always support me, can I say thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support? I am not a techie. I can't talk about macroeconomics and charts and everything else. I am just a Bitcoiner that wants to do his bit to help the space. And, you know, for those that don't like my content, that's okay. They're entitled to their opinion. But I'm hoping that as Bitcoin starts to go up, we're going to find more and more noobs looking and finding my sort of channel. And I believe that knowing everything's great, but being inspired and learning how to build a strong hand is also great as well. So I guess my primary focus is to inspire people to stick with it, etc., build your strong hand, so on and so forth. Sorry, just wanted to say that because I get so nervous before the show. I rattle through the show and sometimes I want to say something that is heartfelt and I actually forget and I don't say it and then I kick myself. Matthew Underhill, what's he saying? I think it is Jaws. I think we're going to need... It is Jaws. It was Robert Shaw, wasn't it? With the no teeth. Awesome. What a film. 2 syllables. Dun-dun. And you got yourself a villain. What film is that line from then, people? I'm giving you all the quizzes here. There is a film, a very popular film, and it says 2 syllables and you've got yourself a villain. A villain. What film is that from? While we go through the tweets. What else have we got? Croesus, I believe. It's a strange position, being able to go out on a limb and recommend Bitcoin to any and everyone. Either you help move them closer to actually looking into Bitcoin, or they ignore you as crazy and you're proven right in time. Be that guy. It's win-win. What a great tweet. And Elaine, you're right. The holiday. Love it. No more cryptics today. Okay, so yeah, that's a very profound tweet if you think about it. How many of us have spoken to a family member and they've sort of ridiculed us or yeah, and we feel we don't want to go back and say it again? What you want to do, people, is go back and say it again and again and again, because what you don't want is for yours and your immediate family's life to change forever. And then them people say to you, why didn't you keep on at me? Why didn't you come back to me? I've missed out. Yes, of course, you can go back and say, well, that's your problem, it ain't mine. But if it's a family member, you don't want that. The psychology needs to be right, where you then say, look, I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I tried, but you wouldn't listen. Here's a couple of grand. I'm only kidding. Yeah. So really profound tweet. Elaine, 2 notes and you have yourself a villain, the holiday Bitcoin master. Yeah, got it. Also, Mr. Tinkler 53. Great to have you back. It's great to have you with us. And yeah, we've all been laughed at. Every one of us, if we are true Bitcoiners, have been laughed at and will be laughed at. Proud Zionist Jew, unique beast, is Bitcoin, definitely. I love watching the chat and sometimes I can't pick up what you're all saying, but I'm loving this show today. I feel so bullish and it's great to have you all with me. VJ Boyapati from a land down under. He's a great Bitcoiner as well. I believe, Adam, you've had VJ on your show, haven't you? Bitcoin turns people into extreme savers. Think about this. Every time you spend, you think, oh, that's 10x on the money I'm throwing away. So, hence, as I tweeted recently, a year or so ago, I was going to get I love Mercedes cars. I was going to get a new Mercedes. And then I said to Elaine, but what if I put that into Bitcoin instead? I mean, she looked at me as if to say, have you gone mad? All the 20 years I've known you, you'll never do anything. If you want a car, you get a car. And here I am. I didn't get the car. I've kept my old one and I put that into Bitcoin, and boy am I glad I did, because if I stick with this and I'm not driven by, you know, millions, etc., but if it does happen how they're all saying it's going to happen, then I could buy 10 of them, or even my beautiful chosen Aston Martin. We'll see. The point is, I made that decision because I thought if I buy the car, it will devalue over time. If I put it into Bitcoin, it will go up in value over time, and that's win-win. A lot of stuff going on I can't see, so I'll leave it there. What else have we got? Swan Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm registered with Swan for when they come to the UK, but they're not in... Michael Webber, did you just swear? You used an expletive on my channel, sir. That shocked me, Michael, because I've met you just a couple of times and you didn't strike me as the sort that would come out with a man's bits comment, but you obviously did, and there you go. I don't know how that got through, because in my settings I've put some expletives that if anyone says them, it will block it, and it didn't block it, so there you go, but I'll let you go with that one. So the MicroStrategy stack is now up over 225 million in 3 months. Can you imagine that? It's there. It's highlighted. Came in at $425 million. This is a couple of days old, I believe. But today, 2 days ago, valued at 656 million. Oh my Picasso. Where are you ever going to get returns like that in a bank or even in stock, shares, bonds, etc.? Forgive me, no financial advice, but for me, Bitcoin is the only place to be if you want to realise those gains and look after your family for the future. Wow, this one's going long. Sorry, people, I'm on a bit of a roll tonight. Rant from Anthony. Everyone is waiting for... This is what I mentioned earlier. I thought it was in one of the show tabs. It was in a tweet. Everyone's waiting for the FOMO. It's not going to be like 2016. It's going to look the same. The big boys have come to play. They don't FOMO. They dominate. The positions they take will be colonial, We've seen that with a start with Michael Saylor. They have long time horizons and they are not buying Bitcoin with paychecks. This bull run will cause, I think he was going to go on to say, a massive upsurge in Bitcoin, I think was what that was going to say. But the point I was making and want to make is these people don't play around. You don't need many more Michael Saylors come in with $500 million or 1 billion or 10% of their reserves like the Mexican guy before, if I can use the term, it's all over. The price is out there, 500,000, 1 million and some. And it just freaks me out. If you are into Bitcoin, really, they say that anyone can get into Bitcoin. All you need to do is open up a Coinbase account and you can buy some. But nothing will happen until Bitcoin gets into you. When it's in here, you will always go to bed thinking, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. How can I get more? I don't have enough. Yeah. So check where you're at, where, your thoughts are to really know if you are in Bitcoin or down that rabbit hole. Now, if he's still in the house, Matt reached out to me this morning and just like Bitcoin Meister, I'm going to do the same. Matt reached out to me and it was in my spam. He reached out to me yesterday actually, and I think he's based in the UK, but he did say that he's using a pseudonym address. He wants to stay as anonymous as he can, but he wrote this book, The Bitcoin Book. And I flicked through, he wanted me to try and read a good chunk of it so I could get an insight. And I did some speed reading this morning, and in all honesty, because it's totally free, not as a book, okay, as a Kindle book, but you can still read it on your phone, your Mac computer. I don't know about Windows, but I've got a Kindle for Mac, on an iPad or something like that. You can still read the book, and it really looks like an incredible book that teaches the basics of Bitcoin. And, as we go through this big bull run, there are going to be so many noobs come in that are looking for something to read that they can get their head around. Okay, so Matt asked me if I would give it a shout out on the show, which I'm doing now. If you head over and in the show notes afterwards, there'll be a link where you can click that will take you to Amazon. In America, for tonight only until midnight. In the UK, until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning only. So if you're watching this on catch up, it's a done deal. You've missed out, but you can still obviously go to Amazon and buy it. Guys, I would encourage you all to go and get it. So there it is on Amazon. You would need to go over to the right, to the bottom one, buy now. You can see it's free. And then you get it on Kindle. You can download the Kindle app for anything. And I've started reading it, and it looks to me like a really, really, really good basic Bitcoin book. And you know what? You can never have enough. And here's another thought for you all. This is just my take. Imagine if you wanted to give somebody a birthday gift to teach them about Bitcoin. Look, £8.99 in the UK. You can get it sent straight to them, label it as a gift. Okay, and you've given somebody a really good gift. You don't care. Well, you do care. You don't mind if they choose to ignore it and not pick it up. But you've reached out and given somebody a fantastic, proper paperback Christmas gift, which I think is absolutely awesome. So I encourage you all, get over there within 5 minutes of the show finishing. I will put that link in the notes. Okay, find it. Go over there, download it for free. Maybe order the book even. I don't know. It's up to you. But it's well worth it. So, Matt, thank you for reaching out for me. Another Bitcoiner that hopefully I can start to get to know and call a friend. So there you go. Go and get that book. Finally, you know me in quotes, people. And I love this one. Now think about this. Just like the tweets. Don't just read it. Take it on board. There are 3 types of people in the world. People who make things happen. Bitcoiners. People who watch things happen, and people who wonder what happened. Those people that ignore all of this, in a few years, they'll wonder what the hell happened. They'll wonder how the hell they missed out. And some of them will be on the sidelines right now, but they just can't make that decision to jump in, get some Bitcoin, get in that rabbit hole and learn what it's all about. So the question I want to leave you all with is, what type of person are you? Before you leave, put something in the chat. And again, Adam, thank you for giving me this idea. We want to mess up the YouTube algorithm. So just like Bitcoin Meister said, and I know I'm copying, but we got to mess the algorithm up. We got to get more eyeballs on these types of shows. Can you go into the show after it's ended and then leave a comment in the actual comments section? Even though you've been in the chat, just a quick comment. Great show, rubbish show, whatever you need to say. Make a small comment after the show, because it starts to screw with their algorithm and we will get more eyeballs on this type of show. Can I also ask you to tweet this out and even tag Preston Pysh in? Because I'd really, really love to get Preston on my show and do an interview with him and bring it down to the Bitcoin for beginner level from somebody that was in the military, flew planes, now into Bitcoin. He's a macroeconomist. I think I got that right, economist. And I think he'd be a great, great addition to our archives. So you guys, please help me to help everyone coming into the space. So that is it. I'm done. I will catch you all on Monday. Don't forget, get over and buy that book. I'll go straight into the notes and update them after the show's ended. I'm Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master, signing off for now. Matt, thanks for staying on the show. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Check out the links. After this ends, you will see my social media links. Now, can I, before you all go, please follow me on my backup channel, UK Bitcoiner, because I've already had this channel taken down once. And if it goes taken down again, I will go live on that other channel. You won't get bombarded with notifications because I don't post there. But if this channel goes down, I will immediately go over there. And Adam, Bitcoin Meister, he's had his channel taken down once, and he's got a strike on his channel last week for no reason whatsoever. And that could equally happen to me as well. So do follow me at UK Gap Bitcoin Master. Until Monday, have yourselves a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for all of your support as always. Don't forget to comment in the show notes and underneath the show, and I will catch you all on Monday. Signing off. Thanks for your support as always. Strong Bitcoin hand. Cheers.